Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon and never miss another update from Almighty Java. In this video, we will see how to authenticate the user using the JWT. So, as part of this video, we will see how to integrate JWT with Spring Boot, and then we will see how to pass the JWT token as part of the every request which we are passing through React using Axios. I hope the prerequisite is clear for you. Then let's start the video. Let's open our GitHub page. So from here, let's clone the latest code of Book REST API React.js project. See, here is the repository. Let's clone this code. I'm cloning this project because later I will commit the modified code so you can access the updated code. For development purpose, I'm using Visual Studio IDE. You can also install. It is free to use. Download and installation process I already explained in the previous video. So here, let's click on the clone repository button. Paste the copied URL. Choose the proper location. See, project cloning starts. Project cloned successfully. Click on the open button. See, here you can see we can access the cloned project. Let's open the inbuilt terminal. First, let's start the node server. So reach till the React.js location using the CD. So CD stands for change directory. As I freshly cloned this project, so before npm start, I need to execute the npm install command so it can download all the required dependency inside the node modules folder. Let's execute the npm install command. As you can see, node module folder created. npm install command executed successfully. Here, as you can see, it is suggesting to run npm audit fix or npm audit command. So let's execute the npm audit fix command also. Command executed successfully. Now we can directly run, or if you want, you can run the npm update command also. So it will look for the latest version of dependencies and update accordingly inside the package JSON file. Let's execute the npm update command also. Command executed successfully. See, here also it is suggesting to execute npm audit related commands. So I hope now you know the reason why it is showing again, because we executed the npm update command. So if you want, you can execute, otherwise we can directly run the npm start command also. Let's execute the npm start command. Node server started successfully. Okay, so this is done. Start the Tomcat also for Spring Boot code. So let's create a new terminal. So from here, let's execute the maven command to run the Tomcat server. As you can see here, we are doing this in 2 steps. In the next video, we will see how to do both the things in single step. But for now, let's go with this flow. See, server started successfully. Let's open the bookstore application. So if you are following my videos, then you are aware about the basic authentication related implementation that we completed as part of the earlier videos. Still, register functionality is pending. Let's click on the login. Here I created flow, but authentication is happening with the help of dummy username and password. As part of this video, we will create the actual implementation using the Spring Security and JWT. But for now, here credentials are dummy and both are test. So let's enter. See, logged in successfully. I'm giving you the demo of the features which we developed as part of the earlier videos. So here, most of the things are working. There are 1 or 2 issues, but those we will address later. Click on the logout. It returned back to the login page. As an end user, we will not feel any difference, but instead of using a dummy username and password, we will use the actual one. Little demo about the application is done. Now let's start the coding. Before starting the JWT related changes, I just want to do some code modification, or can say the best practices. Let's open the book.js file. So here you can see in map state to props, I am returning the object which has 3 values, but all the keys are keeping the same value. So instead of 3, even we can use only 1, then also it is fine. Now let's remove the saved and updated book object values and replace all the places with book object where we are using saved or updated book object. Let's remove this commented code also. See, book.js code is clean and simple. Okay, so these changes are done. Now, I just want to add some changes in Redux code. So let's open the book reducer JS file. Here you can see in the first case I am separating type values using the OR symbol, but instead of that we should go with a separate line. See, this is the best way to handle this kind of scenario. And one more thing, as you can see we are importing the types and the list is increasing like anything. So if there are so many types, then instead of adding all, just use star with some aliases. Let's remove all the types. For alias I am using BT, means book types. See, now it is more clear. Okay, so code refactor is done. Later, apply similar changes in auth related files also. One more thing also I just want to do. As you can see here, this Axios related logic still is a part of the book.js file. So let's move this also as part of the Redux code. Let's see how to move this code. So first, let's open all book related files. First, add types for languages and genres. So types are like one for request, one for success, and one for failure. Okay, so this is done. Let's add these two request cases to the book reducer file and add success and failure cases for languages and genres. Okay, so this is done. Now let's add changes in the book actions JS file. First, here refactor this types related code. Here you can see for one request we created one constant and we are not using this same constant in multiple places. So here is the thing, if code is using only one place, then don't create a variable or constant. So let's remove all the single used constants and use them directly inside the dispatch. I hope you understood what I'm just trying to say, because less code, less problems. I'm keeping these book success and failure constants because we are using them in multiple places. See, this code is looking perfect. Now let's add logic for languages and genres. Let's create a constant for fetch languages, adding export so we can call using React code also. Parallelly, adding code for genres also. Code patterns are similar to other functions that already exist inside this file, so following the same approach. Don't worry, it is simple code. Now let's copy this Axios related code and we'll modify it accordingly. Here also I am directly using the code instead of creating the constants because I am not going to use this success and failure in multiple places. Okay, so Redux related changes are done. Now let's call fetch languages and fetch genres function from the book.js file using the props. First, let's import both the function's name. Now let's call using the props. Same way, let's add call for genres also. And inside the timeout function, use the concat map related code. Now let's hold the languages using the book object. Add the simple condition. Add similar kind of logic for find all genres method also. And we need to call actions using map dispatch to props. So let's add the remaining logic. See, it is pretty standard way to do all this. As you can see, we are coding the proper way without creating any unused or repetitive code. Okay, so everything is done. Let's check languages and genres are coming or not. See, still we are using dummy login, so let's log in using the test. Click on the add book. See, it is working, but only genres are coming. What about the languages? Let's refresh. See, now languages are coming, so both are not coming together. Let's fix this issue. So just to keep it simple, let's call find all genres inside the find all languages method. Let's try now. See, now both are coming properly, so it is working as expected. Okay, so React Redux code warm-up is done. Let's close all the files. Now let's focus on what I committed for this video. So for JWT related changes, we need to add code in Spring Boot classes. Let's stop the Tomcat server. Here you can see it is giving warning like Axios is defined but never used because we removed all the code from the bookchairs file. So let's remove this import also. See, now it is not showing any warning log. Here, I just want to add something like my Visual Studio is not configured for Java because it requires Java 11. So for JWT related changes, I am not going to use Visual Studio. I will continue with the Spring Source IDE. See, here is the project. Let's open this project in Spring Source IDE. Import this as a Maven project. Project imported successfully. Let's run this project. Server started successfully. Let's quickly check still book list is coming or not. See, it is coming. And languages and genres are also coming. That means it is working like earlier. Here, one more thing I just want to add. So if you are following my videos, then you are aware like we are storing data in the H2 database. So every time the server restart and we lost all the changes. So I'm going to change the DB from H2 to PostgreSQL. I already created one video for that. Even you can see here in this video and link in the description. So watch that video also because here I am directly going to do all the things. So basically we need to add changes in POM XML and application properties file. Let's open both the files. Here is the H2 related code which I am going to modify. And here is the dependency. Before that, let's open pgadmin. So how to download and install Postgres. So for that, watch that video. This Postgres is the default DB. First, let's replace the dependency. Dependency downloaded successfully. Now, let's modify this configuration. And one more thing I just want to do because later we will create the user class and the user is the reserved keyword in Postgres. So we need to change the table name. So same thing I am going to do for the book class. Here add the table annotation and give some unique name. Let's open the application class. So here you can see we added this code. So when the server starts, it inserts 1000 dummy records in the book table. Here I want to add one condition. So this code should execute only once. So for that we need to add a condition that can check the table is empty or not. But there is a problem in the previous implementation. So here I am going to explain one more best practice. So open iService interface. See here, you can see for find all, I declared two methods and these methods are taking pageable as a parameter. So here is the dependency. So any class which is implementing this interface. So even if there is no pagination logic is required, but still need to put some implementation for these methods. In the case of book service IMPL, these two find all implementation is required, but not always. So let's see how to get rid of this kind of scenario. So a better approach is to break down this interface into two interfaces. Let's create a new interface and the interface name, let's say iPageService. Add generic T. And now let's move these two methods inside this interface. Now in book service IMPL class along with iService interface implements iPageService interface also. See, errors gone. So that is why you should break down the interface. And now let's add generic find all method without pagination in iService interface. Now let's implement find all method also inside the book service IMPL class. See, everything is perfect now. Let's add a simple condition in the application class run method where we are saving the book objects. I know this is not the perfect way, but here I'm just giving you the example. Okay, so that's it. Database related changes are done. Yeah, one more class is showing an error, and let's fix that also. As we moved the find all pageable method to separate interface, so here also we need to apply some changes. So let's add following the same approach as iService reference variable. See, now all errors are gone. Now let's start the server. See, it is giving some error like a database does not exist. So let's create the database in Postgres using bgadmin. Okay, so database created. Let's try now. See, server started successfully. Let's refresh the database. See, here is the book table. Let's execute the select query. See, it stored the book related data. Let's execute the count query. See, it stored 1000 records. Now let's change this from create drop to update. Server restarted. See, it is not storing any new data, still showing 1000 only. Let's check the book list is coming or not. See, the list is coming properly. So database related changes completed. Now let's stop the server and let's add JWT related changes. So actually I created two videos about the JWT integration with Spring Boot. Videos link in the description. So here I'm not going to write everything from scratch. I'm just going to copy the code from the GitHub repository. Don't worry, I will tell you what and all code you need to copy to achieve the JWT integration with Spring Boot. Let's open our GitHub page. Click on the repositories. Here is the book REST API Spring Security JWT repository. Let's open this one. Click on 4 commits. Open the last 2 commits. So from here, you can easily find what and all code is required. So as part of the second commit, I did some code refactoring. So I'm going to just copy the required code and use it in our book REST API React.js project. Don't worry about this code. I already created 2 videos for this feature. But if you want, you can go through this repository. Let's open the POM XML file. So here we need to add 2 dependencies, like one for Spring Security and one for JWT. Now I'm closing all the tabs. First, I will show you database related changes. Server started. Let's check in the database what are the new tables created. So here you can see role and user tables created. Let's query both the table and quickly look at what are the columns created for these tables. See, the only tables created, but there is no initial data available. Both the tables are empty. Let's open role and user class. See, here is the code. I'm using a different name because in Postgres, user is the reserved keyword. So if you will not use a different name, then it will throw some exception. Open the application class and let's add code for initial data as we added for the book table. Let's create 2 more iService reference variables, one for the role and one for the user. We are using generics in such a nice way, even you can feel the code. Now let's add code for initial data. Don't worry, I am writing a similar kind of code the way we wrote for the book. This code also I copied from the GitHub repository. Server restarted. Let's check data inserted in user and role tables or not. See, here is the data. Now let's see how to access the REST service. Let's open the readme MD file. But before executing any URL, let's first add URL for user authenticate and add request type also. So this file will help you with the URL and request reference. As you can see here, I added URL and 2 types of JSON request. So one for the user role and one for the admin role. Now let's open Postman and test some of these URLs. Let's access the GET request for all the books. See, it is giving access denied response because now we need to add token also. So without token, we cannot access this. And to get the token, let's execute the user authenticate URL and some JSON request, either for user role or for the admin role. This URL and request I copied from the newly added code in the readme MD file. See, it is returning the proper response and the response including the name, authorities and token. Let's copy this token and add this token as part of the header in the books request. Let's try now. See, it is giving the error response because as you knew, we added pagination and sorting logic for book list. So that also we need to append as part of this URL. Even in the exception, you can see the page number. So let's copy the remaining request from booklist.js file, find all books method. Here you can see the complete URL. Let's copy all the required URL. See, it is working fine now. So if we uncheck the authorization and try, then it is giving the error response. I hope you understood. Now I will show you what code I added for this JWT integration. Open application properties file. See, here I added the secret key. Here I created two repository interfaces. Nothing much code I added, only extends JPA repository interface. And for user repository, I declared one method and this method helped to fetch user details from email ID. This method call is happening from the user details service class. Okay, so repositories related changes are done. Now let's open the user resource IMPL class. See, class contains the logic related to user authentication. You go through this code, it is not complex logic, just simple method calls. Now let's open the service IMPL package and just showing you the classes which I added. See, here inside this role service IMPL class, here I just provided the basic implementation. Similar kind of code I implemented for the user service IMPL class. Now let's open user details service IMPL class. So this class basically provided the implementation for load user by username method, which is declared inside the user details service class. This code also is pretty much standard. Now most of the code is done. Now I am going to show you the JWT token related classes which I created inside the config package. Just showing you the code. As I said, for a detailed explanation, watch the videos which I already created. I covered all the classes which I added for JWT. Now close this IDE and go back to Visual Studio IDE. Anyhow, we are using the same project. So now let's run the Maven command for Spring Boot code. Server started successfully. Let's log in using default credentials. Obviously, now languages and genres is not coming because now it is expecting the token as part of the header. Even the book list is also not coming. Now let's see how to fix this scenario. From book list, also remove the commented code. Okay, so code cleaned. Now let's replace the dummy credentials with the actual credentials. So open the auth package and open all the auth related files. First, let's do some code refactor as I did earlier. Add changes for switch cases. Remove all the request constants and use directly the type. And for import, remove all the types and use an alias. Like here, I'm going to use AT. AT stands for auth types. Authenticate user method receiving email and password as a parameter. So using these parameters, let's create the JSON request. Now let's import the Axios. Call the user to authenticate URL using the Axios. As we saw earlier, request type must be post because we have to pass the JSON as a request. Now let's add then an error case. copy success and failure code and paste it accordingly. I hope this code is clear for you. As you knew, as a response, I'm receiving 3 values and token is one of them. Now let's read the token from the response and store it in browser local storage. See, it is very simple. Okay, now let's check. Is it able to authenticate the user with actual username and password? Let's open the browser console also. See, here is the local storage section. Now let's log in using the actual username and password. Oops, it is giving error like invalid email and password. Let's check the console. See, it is giving the error like CORS policy, that means cross origin. To resolve this, we need to add some small changes to the Spring Boot code. First, let's open Spring Security config class. Here, inside this configure method, like we added http.csrf, same way we have to add http.cors. This is one of the main reasons. But along with that, we need to add a cross-origin annotation in the user resource IMPL class also, like we added in book resource IMPL class. Let's add the annotation. Now we are ready to go. But first, let's start the server. Server started without any error. Let's try now and see JWT token is storing or not in local storage. See, it is working and able to store the JWT token. But still, languages and genres are not coming. And here, one more thing we need to handle. Once we log out, JWT token should remove from the local storage, which is not happening now. First, I will show the logout flow. So open the navigation bar.js file. So basically here is the logout user method, which is calling the logout user method of auth actions. So after this dispatch, let's add local storage, remove item method call and pass JWT token. Okay, so this is done. Let's try now. See, it is adding and removing the JWT token properly. Let's test the admin login also once. See, even for admin also it is working fine. Let's log in again. See here, languages and genres are not coming because request header is missing for authorization. Same reason for book list also. Even in the console log also you can see it is giving 403 status. That means access denied. The same error was shown to you earlier when we were not passing the token as part of the header. So here also the reason is the same. To fix this, we need to add authorization as part of the request header. Even you can see in the request header section, there is no key for the authorization. Don't worry, the solution is very simple. So basically we need to add some code. First, let's create a new file inside the utils package and the file name should be auth token. Here, let's create a function for an auth token and don't forget to export. First, let's import Axios. Now, let's create the function. And here, add a simple condition. So if token is not null, then that token in Axios header. And key must be authorization. And in case of else, delete the authorization token from the Axios header. So these changes are done. Now the question is, where are we going to call this auth token function? This function call will happen from the store.js file. So here, after store constant, let's add a simple condition that will check the JWT token from the local storage. And if it is not null, then call the auth token function. And that's it. All the changes are done. Let's test now and see changes are working fine or not. See, it is working fine. Languages and genres are coming the same as earlier. Even book list also is coming properly. Let's open the browser console. Let's refresh this page. See, now the status is coming 200. Let's see the request header. See, here is the authorization key and the value is keeping as JWT token. Same way it is coming for languages and genres also. I hope things are clear for you. Let's try to delete one book. Book deleted successfully. Let's check the record count in DB. See, now it is showing 999 records. Still there are some issues, but most of the things we covered. Remaining issues we'll fix as part of the next video. Let's quickly review all the React Redux related changes. Anyhow, Spring Boot related code we already reviewed. I committed these changes. I will show you from where you can find these. See, here is our GitHub page. Here is the recent commit and here are the changes. You can go through this commit and you will find everything. It took so much time and effort to make this video, so at a good gesture, please do the needful things such as like, share, subscribe and give a nice comment. It gives me a kind of motivation which helps me to create a content for you. That's it for this video. Please like and share this video. Subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.